It is infuriating to me to hear Black history taught as though it started with slavery. And that when we do that, we indoctrinate people to the idea that we brought people here from Africa in order to enslave them. No, the first people that came here from Africa came a long, long time ago. And it had nothing, and we didn't bring them. They came here before we were here. And the only reason we're here is because our ancestors were some of those who came here a long, long time ago. If anybody watching this, any person in the United States of America who was born and raised in the United States of America, if you trace your DNA back far enough, or any place on the face of the earth, if you trace your DNA back far enough, you will find DNA from a country in Africa, because we all came from the same place, a country in Africa. And we are all members of the same race. Different faces are not different races. You need to realize, people need to realize that our differences are the result of our body's adaptation to the natural environment over centuries. It is not the result of being God's chosen children. And Native Americans, what we call Indians, didn't come from India, and they didn't spring up out of a hole in the ground. They came from Africa.
You mentioned there being settlers already in America, or United States of America, what we know as now. Talk to us about that process. What was that process like when, I guess, the Europeans decided they wanted this country, and now these people had already settled there? What was that process like for them taking over and now becoming what we know now as America or United States?
The process was the same as what it is now. If you have enough strength and you have the firepower, you will take over whatever land you see that has the natural resources that you would like to enjoy. We did it then, and we are doing it now, and we will keep on doing it as long as we are allowed to. And we'll do it on the basis of, well, we're white, so we must be right. In this country, we say, if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, hang around. If you're black, get back. And if you're red, you're dead. However, if you're mellow, if you're yellow, you're mellow. We think that's amusing. It's not amusing. It is a sign of our total ignorance about the human race.
I have to ask, and since we're on this subject, what are your thoughts regarding the incident that took place on January 6th at the Capitol? What do you think of that?
Well, number one, we asked for it. We allowed a person in the White House to live in the White House occasionally, who preached that if you aren't white, you aren't all right, who was a blatant racist, sexist, ageist, homophobic, ethnocentric, and ethnocentrist. We elected him out of our total ignorance, and we allowed him to live in the White House for 4 years. Now, I remember when Richard Nixon said to a group of reporters, "I'm trying to save the White House for you white people." And I thought, oh, for the love of God, how dare he? He dared because he knew what this country was about. This country was built on slavery. The United States of America was built on our ability to take land from people who were here first, and then to go to Hull, England, and buy slaves and bring them over here and put them to work in the cotton fields, because that was a really good enterprise capitalistically. Now, I have nothing against capitalism, but I do have something against people using other people to make money. This is nothing new in this country. George Washington owned slaves. You need to remember that. And people, that is not one of the things we teach in history. We don't dare teach that George Washington owned slaves, because then we would be saying, well, we believe in the Constitution, but we don't necessarily practice what's in it. Except when they wrote the Constitution, a slave was 3/5 of a person. So you see that has finally been taken out of the Constitution, but we didn't take it out of the history. We took it out of the history books, but we didn't take it out of our mentality. We are still in this country. Slavery is still in existence. And if you haven't read the book, the new Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, for God's sake, get it and read it. And you will realize that people in prisons, and many of them are young Black males, we put people in prison and we force them to work for 8 hours a day, pay them 22 cents an hour if there wasn't a victim to their crime, then that money goes to the prison system, I guess. I don't know. If you put a person in a cage, you work them 8 hours a day, you furnish their food, their lodging, and their clothing, that's called slavery. We have reinstituted slavery with our prison industrial system. No one wants to talk about that, and no one wants to know that. I am the least popular person probably on the face of the earth because look, at my age, you can kill me if you choose to, and I've gotten lots and lots of death threats. Every time I go on a college campus, when I'm saying these things, there are those 3 little boys down there now with their red caps that say, "Make America Hate Again." They say, "Make America Great Again," but they mean "Make America Hate Again." And they're doing this at me and, pointing their fingers at me. And this is the strongest weapon they've got. And I look down, I say, "Look, fellas, I know what you're thinking. You'd like to see me dead because of what I do to decrease the level of racism in this country. Well, go ahead and kill me. That's all right. I've lost a husband and a son, and I really don't value this life as much as I did. However, you need to know that if you kill me, you might make a martyr out of me. And then you might have to spend the rest of your life celebrating Jane Elliott Day once a year. Do you want to do that?" Yeah. And they all do this, they make a cross with their first tree. No, no, no. I say, "So shut up and listen while I'm talking." And then they shut up and listen. However, because I have pointed them out, all the young males of color in the room now know who they are. So before I finish speaking, those guys get over the back of their seat back, get out of the room row behind them, and run out of the building, because they know that they could be in very big trouble now with other students on that campus. You have no right to threaten with your gestures and your whispers the woman who's on, whatever the person is on the stage is saying. You have no right to threaten her in any way whatsoever, because I am not shy about picking you out and identifying you and letting everybody know, look, these fools are doing this. I obviously can't teach them anything. I won't be with them tomorrow. And I don't say this out loud, but everybody in the audience knows she's deliberately pointing them out. We now know who ran that mess in the Capitol on January 6th.